Beautiful. Well, we'll get started in about a minute here. Things that you'll need today are just, something to hold on to, especially if balance is challenging for you. We aren't going to do too much that requires a table to lean on, or you won't have to be on hands and knees too much. We're going to be doing primarily lower body here today. So there will be some time spent on one foot or the other. And as much as possible, I'll give you some options to use a chair if that's something that you're worried about, either for balance or just sometimes just variety is good. All right. Well, now I'm just getting excited. It's hard to wait for 12 o'clock sometimes. If you're, oh, there, we changed finally. So just transitioning from workday to taking care of ourselves time, really encourage you to take a deep breath and or get in a little wiggle and see how your body's feeling, sort of checking in top down. So sometimes it feels good just to be like, okay, how is my neck and shoulders doing? Do I have a headache? How about like spine in amongst the rib cage region? So sort of thoracic spine here, a little rounding, wiggling, binding any creaky, cranky parts. And then how's my lower back doing? Have I been arching so much that that part is a little bit tired or sore? How's my stomach feeling? Those hip flexors, what have they been up to? If you've been sitting all day, those hip flexors have been in a shortened position. But also, if you're prone to a lower back arch, that also shortens the hip flexors. So sometimes our hip flexors have just been hanging out in sort of a cramped position for a really long time. And then just sort of noticing your legs, how your quads feel, your calves, maybe even your feet, if you've been on your feet because you like a standing desk or you've been running around too much yesterday, right? All kinds of things can be affecting our bodies. I often think that we don't give our bodies credit for all that they go through, uh, on a daily basis, but also it accumulates through our years whether you're spending a little bit too much time being sedentary or a little too much physical intensity, both of those are challenging for our bodies. When you oscillate between them too rapidly, that can be hard. And so, and so balance itself can be challenging. So wherever you're at today, say, thank you, body. You've been through a lot. You're still trying for me. I appreciate you. And we're going to dive in. So I'm going to start off with big circles for my lower body. You could do this standing where you're drawing the biggest circle possible around your hip with your knee. You can also do this sitting, same story. I think my Google Home decided to talk to me. Sorry about that. So right now I'm drawing the biggest circle I possibly can around my hip joint with my knee, just sitting down. Now it's a little bit handy that I'm using a stool because I don't have a back of a chair or arms of the chair in the way, but either way, you're going to have to be sitting on the very edge of the chair here. And then go ahead and move down. So we're drawing the biggest circle with our foot around our knee joint. And the biggest circle possible is just the biggest circle for you. You can reverse direction if that's fun for you. And then ankle circles. So just the biggest circle possible here. You could think about the four corners of the stretch. You could sort of also think about like a compass rose. So there's, north, south, east, and west, but then there's also these inter points between them. And we're trying to hit the very tippity edge of each one. Beautiful. And then whenever you're ready, we'll go over and we'll do the other side. I'll just demonstrate this one standing for funsies. So I'm bringing my knee across my body, up as close to my shoulder as I possibly can, out to the side as much as possible, and then down and back behind my hip bone as much as possible before continuing the circle. I always find with this type of stretch break, I get a lot more out of it when I put in the mental effort. Much easier said than done, of course. You can always reverse the direction of the circle if you want to. Beautiful. And now let's move down to the knee. So I'm drawing a circle around my knee with my foot. Which means trying to kick my butt, trying to kick out to the side, kick forward, and then kick sort of across my body direction. And it's amazing all the different directions that we're able to go just, just with our amazing joints here. And now drawing circles with your toe around your ankle. Nice. Whenever you're ready, put the second foot back down on the ground. And we're going to do a little bonus form up here where we're stepping over a high fence, whatever a high fence is to you. I'm going to move my chair out of the way so that I have an imaginary high fence here. And so lifting my foot up, stepping over, and then up and over. Beautiful. And we'll just go back and forth a few times. This could be something where it's nice to hold on to something. So if you have a wall in front of you, you could absolutely do that. Just pretend stepping up and over like an electric fence. Just imagine we cannot be touching down there. I could also use my stool for this and then just put my hands on the stool, step up, over, almost like I have a little miniature pony that I'm walking over here. Beautiful. And now, continuing our fence imagery, we are going to go under a fence. So I'm going to step and then go as low as possible under my imaginary electric fence. If this is challenging for you, you could absolutely plant your feet and not step side to side, or you can step side to side. Do whatever's right for you. Or just going back and forth at your own pace, trying to go down a little bit lower, or step a little bit wider each time. So maybe instead of one strand of electric fence, I've got two strands that I'm going under. Lovely. All right, so now we're going to dive into some wonderful stretches, starting off with quads. So if you can grab your ankle, that's great. But not everybody can, and that's totally fine. So let's say I cannot. I have options. I can rest my foot on something, either on the sitting part of a chair or even a rung of a stool, a rung of a chair, something like that to get that quad stretch. I could also hold on to my pant leg here for a nice little modified stretch. So wherever you're at here, we're going to want to make sure that your knees are together and your pelvis is just slightly tucked So tailbone tucked under just a little bit. And we're also going to want to check in with our posture, making sure we have that long, tall spine. Beautiful. Take a few deep breaths here, just trying to settle into the stretch and enjoy it. Now, I did promise that I would give sitting variations when possible. So I hope that you can see this all right. But if I'm sitting, I can actually bring my foot back a little bit here. And then I could even rest my foot on something, whether it's a second chair, a stack of books, a yoga block. You could find the stretch here, or you could also hold onto your ankle, hold onto your pant leg here as well. Now we're going to go ahead and do a quad stretch on the other side, whatever variation you are interested in. I'm going to set it up, long, tall spine, holding on to whatever part is appropriate for me, drawing my knees together and tucking my pelvis under just slightly. And now breathing into it. The reason why we're doing quads first is actually because quads are a hip flexor, right? They actually enact to flex your hip. So later, when we do our lunge style hip flexor stretch, we are going to have already given some of the parts involved a courtesy call. Now, there are other things involved in flexing your hip, especially depending on how high up your knee goes. But one piece has gotten the courtesy call and a little bonus stretch. So whenever you're ready to be done with the second quad stretch here, we're going to do our hip flexor stretch in lunge position. I'm going to start off with my left leg forward, right leg back, and I'm tucking my pelvis under, so tailbone under, long, tall spine. I can hold on to something for balance. If I do, it would be with the left hand. And I'm going to reach up and over. If I was doing this sitting, I would just put my left butt cheek on some sort of a chair and reach my right leg back. Keeping the pelvis tucked will actually be a little bit easier here, at least for most people. And you have a little bit of control with where you choose to put the right leg. So you can put it back as far as you like. You can straighten or bend that knee as much as you're interested. And either position, you can reach up and over with your right hand. So right leg back, right hand up and over. And because I'm sitting right now, it's a little bit easier to relax into the stretch. Variety's good. One last deep breath here. And we'll do the other side. I'm going to stay sitting just for the fun of it and show you a different angle. So right leg is forward, right knee is bent, left leg is coming back here, just as far as feels good for me. My pelvis is already tucked, spine is long and tall, and I'm reaching up and over with my left hand. I'm also making sure to tailor this to how my hip flexor feels today, rather than being like, yesterday it did this, so today it's going to do this as well. And I'm just staying in touch with my body, being like, hey, let's see how you feel. Let's see what you're capable of today. As you sit here for a minute, you may notice that, or stand, depending what position you're at, you may notice yourself settling in and it becomes less of a stretch as the time goes on. If that happens, you can just adjust by either tucking your pelvis a little bit more, taking a slightly bigger step, or reaching just a little bit further. Beautiful. Now, having given our hip flexors and the front of our legs, like our quad area, so much attention, we're going to do a counter stretch to end just by getting in a nice forward fold. Now, if I'm doing this standing, that just means hinging the hips and relaxing down. But I can also do this sitting where I have my legs stretched out in front of me or bent, world's your oyster, and I'm allowing my upper body to just relax over my thighs. I can use my hands for support if I feel like that's a good thing. I can allow my back to round, or I can keep it flat. And wherever I am, I'm just going to keep breathing into it, finding the level of stretch that's enjoyable, and doing that. The level of stretch that's enjoyable is a pretty good indicator of right sizing the challenge for most people. Um, it's also a good way to help yourself want to stretch more. So, for two reasons, it makes this stretching more sustainable and more effective. Hope that's useful. That's our 15 minutes. Thank you all so much for joining me today, and I hope you have a fabulous afternoon. Take care, everyone.